Hello, hello. This is Emergency Management Made Easy with Lauren on your favorite channel with me, YouTube. Today, July 7th, 2026. A review and titles of 31 classes on YouTube. Class number 55 in the series. On October the 12th, 2025, we conducted our first review of video training classes. At that time, we had covered a total of 24 trainings on YouTube. 24. Today, to date, we will review an additional 32 classes covered from October 13, 2025 to July 7, 2026. Today is that class. The total classes to date, are you ready? Drum roll. 55 classes. 55. So let's review the classes we have covered. Note, the classes you have missed, I would write them down, jot it down, take a note. So you'll need pencil and paper today, because I want you to note the classes you missed that you might just want to take, because I'm going to review each one and not necessarily talk a lot about it, but some I will, because I'm incredibly proud of our work together. So, YouTube asked me about a month ago if I wanted to keep going, continue the series. And I said, yes, I do. And I hope you're happy about it, because I am. A review of 31 video classes. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Do you have your pencil? Do you have your paper? Okay. Let's start with October 13th, 2025. Now, there are 4 classes here, and I wanted to go on vacation. I was in Europe for 4 weeks, and I sneaked out on you and posted the classes before I left. So it's 4 of them. Pencils up, October the 13th. Are you ready for the Smart Community class? Now, that's next level training. I just went on and did it. I put it out there for you. Are you ready for the next level? Are you ready to grow in this? I asked you. October the 13th again. It was posted. Urban Planning 102, which is a introductory college course in urban planning. If for any of our students who want to attend college and may be interested in planning, that's where I was going with that as a career goal for someone. October 16th, 2025, I posted this. While I was away, I sneaked out. Public health planning, vaccination, yes or no? Should we vaccinate? Should children be vaccinated? That was the question. And that was one of the classes in which I was incredibly proud, because we dealt with vaccination, measles, what was going on in certain states, which state was the most impacted and with the most children affected. I was really proud of that one. And hopefully you took a closer look. If you didn't, jot that down. October the 16th again, I posted. Your business plan for closure and teleconferencing. Becomes some business had to close. Some business would possibly have to close. And how would teleconferencing be used to make it easy on their business, in schools, children who have diseases, communicable diseases, measles, mumps, whatever? How would teleconferencing help with that? So we did. That was October 16th. So upon my return around November 16th, 2025, attention, no, you cannot leave the building. And I laid out why. Shelter in place. Why shelter in place? Schools, businesses, even at home. Shelter in place. During this hot spell that we've had the last 2 weeks, that was kind of like a shelter in place because it was just too hot for certain people to go out, maybe children, maybe seniors, but there are times when we have to stay home. Or if there's a blizzard or a hurricane, you're at work, you're at your worship house, something is coming. They say, stay here, you can't go out. Shelter in place. Attention, no, you cannot leave the building. That was November 26, 2025, I repeat. December 4th, 2025. Tariffs. The title is Tariffs, Taxes, Overhead. What? Insurance too? Everything was going up. We were dealing with a lot in the country financially. June 3rd, 2025. I have a note here. That was a correction. I had to insert this class, working together to address risky business, because there was an error. So I had to go in and make a correction. You still might want to check that out. It's in the, it's listed twice. Working together to address risky business. December 9th, 2025. It's hot. Fire is hot. And I decided for December, the whole month of December, to address monthly, just to address fire suppression training. Just for you during the Christmas holidays, the holidays themselves, easy things that we should remember, classes we need to repeat, reminders we already know, but it's a refresher course. The whole month was fire suppression for the most part. And it was red. And red is my favorite color. And the holidays are my favorites. And I wore red for 4 weeks. And you guys responded very well. You really liked that month. So let's look at that month. December 9th, it's hot. Fire is hot. And there were fires we discussed, and what to do and what not to do. December 16th, 2025. Quick, get the fire extinguisher. That was one of my most popular classes that month. Just to remind us as to how to use fire extinguisher, what they're for, all of that. December the 22nd, 2025. Red December, fire safety continued. December 30th, 2025. Records and all storage protocol. You have a small business. It might even be a garage. It could be any small business, a bookstore, little restaurant. How do you store your records? Where do you keep your records? How do you keep your records safe? What do you do? January 6th. Now we're in the new year, 2026. Sniff. Sniff around. Do you smell gas? Was the question. That was the video. Do you smell gas? To date, this date, at least, I know of 3 incidents by which there was a gas leak and an explosion, and houses and businesses were destroyed and people were hurt. So from December 6th, when I taught that class, at least I know of 3. Matter of fact, one last week, a huge gas fire. You smell gas, and for you knew it, a whole community was almost wiped out and people were displaced. January 13th, 2026, medical emergency and healthcare protocol. How to conduct yourself. What might the issues be? And what to do in a medical emergency. January 20th, 2026, interacting with media. Just the facts, ma'am. That was one of my favorite programs in the 50s when I was little with Jack Webb. He was the detective who would come to the person's house to investigate. And he would say, just the facts, ma'am. But anyhow, interacting with the media. Now, this is one of my favorites because, and I have my notes, how to speak with the media, how to engage them when they show up at your business or even your house, but your school, whatever, worship house. Where to stage the media. Where should they be placed? What is their staging area where they need to be? How do you prepare yourself? Let me give you for instance. The media's at your door. There was a fire, maybe in your building. They want information, and they want information for the next news. Matter of fact, they want to be the first outlet with that news. That's how big that fire is, or whatever may happen. You talk with your administrator, or you are second in command, because you're in the worship house, pastor's away on a trip, but you're second in command. How do you interact with the media? What do you tell them? And one of the examples I gave was, we are still investigating this bombing, this fire, this situation. And I have no or very little information to share with you. However, if you give me your phone number or a way in which I can communicate with you, email, as soon as we know more, we will get back with you. Their next question is, well, will you be able to speak to us within maybe the next couple of hours? Well, yes, we will give you a report within, I would say, a couple of hours. We'll call you, we'll let you know when we're ready. You'll be nearby. We're going to stage you over here on the parking lot. You can be staged over there, and we will be able to report to the press. I would say within an hour or two. I've talked with my administrator, I've talked with the boss, and that's how we're going to handle it. And we'll have much more information to share with you. What you're doing is you're buying time. You're giving your business, your worship house, your restaurant, your library, a chance to collect all the information and give the information that you want the press to have. There might be some information for insurance reasons you don't want them to have right away. So you have to think this through. You can't just simply give a report and speak without having a plan. And as you remember, for some of you who have my book, I have an entire section on how to deal with the media and how to write a report for the media. All of that is in my book. So that's one of my favorites. That was January, interacting with the media, January 20th, 2026. January 27th, 2026. Getting you and your employees ready for OSHA. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Be it a food truck, be it a parking lot, be it a large corporation. Whenever you have a OSHA inspection, wherever you are the administrator of, you need to be prepared for that and know just what they're looking for and what to expect. On February 3rd, 2026, I continued with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. There were 2 trainings given for that particular inspection. Wanted you to know what to expect. February 10th, 2026, tabletop exercise, TTX, in parentheses, what you need to know. And you learned, some of you, that tabletop was just a meeting, a group of people at the table, planning how they would respond to an emergency. As a matter of fact, they had planned a functional exercise to role play, talk about in the room what agencies would respond to the functional exercise and what their roles are. The fire department, Department of Public Works, what is their role? And that was February 17th, 2026, the functional exercise, FE, Frank Exit, FE. And the managers, the municipalities would meet to plan for a full-scale exercise. Oh, what is a full-scale exercise? Well, that was February 24th, 2026, the full-scale emergency exercise, in parentheses, Frank Sam Earl, FSE. The final frontier, I called it. That is when people show up, equipment show up, and they stage an emergency, like a bombing, in which there are many people hurt. The emergency rooms are crowded with people who have been ill. How do you respond to that? What do you have to do during a volcano, a tsunami? And just this week, we saw emergencies worldwide and the response teams and how they responded. That's what the full-scale emergency exercise was, pretty much a planning full-scale exercise with many, many individuals present and lots of expensive equipment on site. It operates just like a full-scale emergency. What would you do? What would your team do? Who are the nurses? Who are the doctors? How does the American Red Cross factor in? How does the Maryland, I live in Maryland, the National Guard function in certain emergencies? How do we evacuate people when we need to? All of that is practice in that full-scale exercises. But the first 2 exercises, tabletop, functional exercise, are pretty much the planning team. Now, in the tabletop exercise, I talk about the job description of everyone in the room and the information that they're gleaning from the people at the table. Who's taking notes? Who's going to give the report? Who's going to write the report? All of this happens. All of this planning happens before a full-scale exercise. And I trained you. I took you in the room with me and trained you. If you missed it, you missed a goodie. I would go back and I would try to take these classes. March 3rd, first wars and afterwards mass shootings. the consequences. If I am not mistaken, something had happened, but unfortunately, we've grown accustomed to mass shootings, and I dealt with that. I would go back and look at it. March 10th, bomb attacks in your community. What would you do? What would you do if a bomb went off in your neighborhood, down the street, half a mile, quarter mile away? What would you do? What should we do? And what should the response look like? Go back. March 10th, 2026, take the class. March 17th, 2026. Training effectiveness. Let's test it. And we talked about the effectiveness of the trainings that we have discussed together. And remember, this isn't just me teaching you. We're doing this together as a team. So I wanted to know how effective we are and how effective we should be when we're training and what you should be learning. March 24th, 2020, I have 2028, no, 2026. What about unthought of safety issues? The safety issues that we rarely think about. The day-to-day accidents. The security in the house. I have to be careful. Siri is off. Do you ask Siri to call 911? You fall down and you can't get up. Just general things. I enjoyed that training because I had to take a look at my security in my household as well. March 31st, 2026. Sexual assault and student safety. Well, I was triggered because in my community, some persons were peeping in students' windows who live off of the campus. And I wanted to address student safety. And that was a goodie because I talked to the girls too about some of the boys and how to conduct themselves and how to walk and where to walk and what time. If you are a young person, like I have two 17-year-old great-granddaughters who are on their way to college, and I have an 18-year-old grandson who's already in college, and a 25-year-old who is in Seoul, Korea, in the Army. And we're not even talking about the babies. We're not talking about the 12-year-old, the 5-year-old, and the 7, 8-year-old grandchildren. I've got lots of kids. But those young ladies on their way to college, hopefully they communicated with me because their birthdays are coming up. They will watch this video March 31st, 2026. As a matter of fact, I'm going to suggest it to them as soon as I'm done today. Okay. April 14th, 2026. Slips, Trips, and Falls, Senior Edition. Well, as I said in the video, I was visiting my daughter in New York. And I'm sitting here, I'm on the 4th level of my house because this is the studio. The attic, it's the studio. And she wanted to know, will there become a time when you have to leave that house? Will there be a time when, if you have an accident or something, you decide to move into a flat or an apartment? And what she did was she challenged me. She says, and what is your exercise routine? And are you staying strong? And are you sure you will be able to walk well because you're taking care of yourself, eating well? And she challenged me. So I came home and did an April 14th video in 2026 on Slips, Trips, and Falls, Senior Edition. And that was a hit. I got lots of positive feedback on that one because my friends who were in my age group were sending that information to friends because many of their friends are taking care of loved ones, elderly loved ones, and they're concerned about their futures as well. They're caretakers. April 21st, 2026. Protect your social, professional, and online reputation. A digital shadow. Because who knows what lurks in the heart of man? The shadow does. It's another old program that we used to listen to on the radio, The Shadow. Well, there are people out there who are manipulating data and trying to get up in our DMs for purposes that are not exactly kind. They really might want to steal our identities or do any of that. So I did a class on that, April 21st, 2026. Protect your social, professional, and online reputation. A digital shadow, because the heart of man isn't always honest. April 28th, 2026. Are public venues becoming more dangerous? That was like the day after there was a shooting in a prominent hotel in Washington, D.C., and people had to evacuate. The person came in the front door and started shooting a gun downtown Washington, D.C. So I talked about being in environments by which something is off and you need to get out of there. You just don't feel safe. And I think a week later, there was some students who were graduating and they had a lovely party outdoors, and some person came in and began shooting. They didn't know who the person was. May 12th, 2026. Vote because our ancestors are watching. This is going to be one of my all-time favorites, reminding us to vote because laws change. Because as you can see, I'm African American, part Native American, and my daddy was mixed. So I've got a lot running through my genes. Laws may change, but values and morals should never change. Never lose sight of who we are as people of color. Even if the laws change, we're still who we are. We vote because our parents, who might have moved on in heaven, aunties, cousins, they're watching us to see how we're going to conduct ourselves during troubling or trying times. So vote because our ancestors are watching. And then I think I said vote like your life depended on it. November 7th, 2026. It's one of my favorites. Check it out. May 26th, 2026. I don't know why I put that there. So, do you live, work, or have family in a group home? That was rich. That was rich. Nice response to that. What should you think about? What should you be looking at? Who should you be communicating with? How to communicate? And it was loaded with information in regard to the laws in group homes, facilities for senior citizens, home care, health care. Who owns the facility? Is it a corporation, or are the directors of the facility on site? Okay. Check it out. June 9th, 2026. A favorite. Heat-related protection for vulnerable populations and indoor-outdoor workers. We do a lot of talking, a lot of training seniors and children during heat, hot. When the solar energy is just like it's been in the last few weeks in Europe and in the United States. It's hot. However, my interest was also in indoor and outdoor workers. People who collect our trash, people who install our windows. I got people coming. I told them, I don't want you here if it's too hot. I want you to be safe. I want you to be healthy. People who cut our lawns, trim our shrubberies. Do we ever give our attention to their needs during high solar energy times when the sun is just beating down to 100 to 105 degrees? So France, all over Europe, they've had a heat spell. We had a heat spell, which caused other problems environmentally. Hard rain, flooding. So, June 9th, 2026, heat-related protection for vulnerable populations and indoor and outdoor workers. How about factory workers? People who work our fields, pick our food. All of that. June 23rd, 2026. Human-caused global warming. That, for me, is my Academy Award. I have a lot of favorites in this, but this one I love. Human-caused global warming. I deal with artificial intelligence. And I expanded it to solar heat and its impact. Surprisingly, that has happened worldwide. How does crypto coin mines and artificial intelligence mining impact our communities? What does that mean? What does that look like? I admonish you to go back to June 23rd, 2026. Some of you were on vacation, and check out that video. Okay? And of course, what I'm talking about today is a video. So that's the last video. So, I have questions for you, and I want you to please respond by email, preparebeforeithappens@outlook.com, or on the YouTube channel. I want you to respond. Now, this is an informal training survey, and I want you to jot down the question that you're interested in that you might want to respond back to me to. Are you ready? Pencils are up. 1. How satisfied are you with this training? And I'm asking you this because YouTube says, do you want to continue? You have enough to stop if you want. It's like, no. I said no. 2. The pace of the training. Is it and was it appropriate? The pace. 3. The training content was relevant to my job duties, volunteer assignments, and personal needs. Just left it that way. Is it working for you? Have you learned anything? Have you gained anything? 4. The instructor was knowledgeable and sufficiently researched about the various subjects that we discussed together, because we're learning together. I have a quote from Dr. Jamal Bryant down in Atlanta, Georgia. He's my oldest daughter's pastor and my grandson. Dr. Bryant says, lack of preparation causes poor performance. Thank you, Dr. Bryant. Was I well prepared? And did I perform well? 5, how likely are you to recommend this training to others? And I hope you do, but keep this in mind. You can send this training all around. It's free. It's there for you. Low-hanging fruit. However, I need you to subscribe. That's for me. That's right. That's your payment to me, the subscription. I'm doing the work, but I need you to help me by subscribing. Okay? To the channel. What would you change? 6. What would you change to improve these classes? Let me know what you want changed, what you would like to see. I would appreciate that. 7. Please recommend additional training subjects of interest. What else do you need to know in regard to your business, your household, what you're working on, your concerns about your health? What do you need to know? Get back to me, let me know, and I'll try to work on that. Or bring somebody on with me who can co-train with me. That's a thought for 2026, 2027. A co-training situation, 2 people. So, on behalf of our community, audience, and students, thank you, YouTube channel. The team and customer service have been extremely supportive. I was called to do this in my prayers. Set up a YouTube channel for the people. What? I knew nothing about setting up a YouTube channel. So not only did I have to do the research and write the scripts that I present to you, I had to learn how to access and use YouTube, the belly of it, the business of it. I had to learn that. How to post a video on YouTube channel. I'm still learning a year later, beyond a year later. And I had an opportunity to speak with you, the head of that department, the CEO, customer service, and I could tell while I was presenting to you for a year or beyond a year, I was getting help from the back end, suggestions from the YouTube administration and customer service. That is why I have a Facebook account. I'll advertise and I'll let you know what I'm doing. But you have to go to YouTube to access the video. I am loyal to the people who brought me. They brought me. They've supported me. They only ask that I get my subscriptions up. And so I'm asking you to help me with that. I never forget the people who brought me. I don't care where I am. I'm loyal. I was loyal at work for all the years I worked, and I'm loyal now to people who helped me. And I'm really grateful to the YouTube family for taking me under their wing. One day I was yelled at. One of the customer service people said, you need to get some more training. And they referred me to Kevin Colby, who was the first person who I went to training for people over 50. That was Kevin Colby, K-O-L-B-Y. I'm giving him a shout out. He brought me as well. I'm still watching his videos. So, and thank you, my audience, for the subscriptions that I have, the people at Mount Calvary AME Church who have subscribed, my friends who have subscribed, my family. I'm really grateful because it's a lot of work, but it was more fun than I thought it would be. And when I was frustrated one day in prayer, I was so frustrated. I began to weep. I heard it in the spirit realm. I trained you for this. You were born for this. I knew when you were in your mother's womb what you would be doing right now. You are trained for this. Every college class you've ever taken, every emergency management meeting you've attended, whatever, you were still being trained and you were born for this. And for that, I thank God. And I thank you, my audience. I will see you, if not next week, the week after. I want this particular training to take legs. Thank you. And bye-bye. Good night.